whatsoever. The work that these three are doing, and I should note that they're part of a very exclusive group, and that's a group that I think IALI wants to make larger. That's Indian American and South Asian American state legislators. And this exclusive group really represents some of the best and the brightest from our community. And the type of work that they're doing at the state and local level, in my view, is the type of work we need to do as a community if we're going to have a political voice. You know, we saw Congressman Joe Crowley up here earlier, gave a great talk, and he talked about how it appears to be so glamorous to be in the US Congress. And likewise, it seems very glamorous to see Indian Americans run for US Congress and the Senate, and maybe one day the presidency. But at the end of the day, no one's going to trust us or our community or anyone else to overhaul the national healthcare system if you haven't dealt with that issue at the state level. Right? Potholes, for example, I know we do more than fix potholes, but at the end of the day, if you can't fix someone's pothole, how are you going to deliver them health care, after all? I think that's why it's so important, and each of these three embody that, to be part of the community you seek to represent before you go off and try to lead it. And I think you'll see that common aspect in all the biographies. And I guess what I'm going to do first is just introduce each speaker one by one, let them talk, and then introduce the next person, because I think the amazing biographies that they have deserve to be heard. So let me first introduce Kumar Barve, hand it over to him, and then I'll go down the line. So I'm going to give his abbreviated bio from Wikipedia, which is a great source. So, and if any of this is incorrect, you can blame Wikipedia, not me. Kumar Barve is a delegate representing District 17 of the Maryland House of Delegates in Montgomery County, Maryland. That's a district with over 110,000 people, quite a large district. He graduated from Georgetown, right here locally, with a BA in accounting. He was first elected back in 1990, so he's been at this for a long time. And Hansen also elected in 1990, I believe. And
out for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll
right.
talk about that later.
Re-elected in 1994, 1998, 2002, and 2006. So consistently re-elected. This last time with 62% of the vote. He's been awarded Legislator of the Year by the Medical Association of Montgomery County. He's been endorsed in the past by the Washington Post and the Baltimore Sun. And all that matters a lot. But I guess the one thing I want to say before I hand it over to Kumar is I remember when I first met him. And I was a summer intern for the Washington Leadership Program, sponsored by India Abroad, which maybe some of you have done. And we were all excited to have Kumar come speak to us. And he stayed until the very last question was answered and asked, or asked and answered. And that really meant a lot to me because he came up to Capitol Hill. He didn't have to do that. There were a bunch of young interns. We weren't voters in his district, but he really stayed there and he answered all the questions. And I remember the last question very specifically. We asked him, how much time do you spend with Indian Americans? Right? Because you're so prominent in the community, you know so many of us. And he answered us very honestly. And he said, you know what, I spend time with groups in proportion to how they're represented in my district. So if 25% of my district is Indian Americans, well, heck, I'll spend 25% of my time with Indian Americans. And at first, it was a little bit jarring. You didn't expect that. You expected to say he spent all his time with Indian Americans, right? That's what you want to hear. But really, that lesson to me was that if we're going to represent these communities around the country, we're not representing majority Indian American districts in most cases, right? Unless you're hailing from Edison, New Jersey, or Fremont, California. Right? In the end, we're going to represent communities that are diverse. And that means you have to be part of the community and represent that entire community. And that's kind of what I learned from Kumar, and I continue to be inspired by his example. So let me hand it over to him.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.